Good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until about 5 o'clock. I was trying to watch Wyatt. I'm listening to CK. But I said I got to get in because I got to get out. I can't be on here with y'all till no 7 o'clock today. I got some stuff I promised my daughter I would do for her, and so I got to go and take care of that at about 5:30. All right, let's see. Let's say hello to everyone. Excuse me. Let's say hello to everyone. Jerica Vaughn first. Good afternoon, Jerica. Good afternoon. DeAndre Crosby, he also says first, but he's not. He's second. Good afternoon, DeAndre. Crystal Hoskins, who also says first, but she's third. Good afternoon, Crystal. Good afternoon. Karen and Di Williams, representing Westwood. Good afternoon. And rounding out the top 5, Kush Rashid. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Kush Rashid rounding out the top 5. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Got Drea in the house out there in Sycamore Township. Good afternoon. Anthony Prosser. Anthony Prosser, good afternoon to you. Crystal says, by the way, she's representing the Christ Hospital. Alonzo Clark, checking in from work. All right, good afternoon. Let me see. Watch he restart, and I'll be last. Why would I restart? Let me see. Regina Denson Griffin out there in Madisonville. Good afternoon. Got Brent Beard, representing Dallas, Texas. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Brent says I look like a Post-it note. I did a couple colors. I'm testing out some different color combinations. See what I like and what I don't like. This came off as a little more Michigan to me, and it's not the blue that I want, so I'm gonna have to do a custom color. It's a whole ordeal, but I'll take it. Post-it note. Let's see. Jabbar Rhodes in the house. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Benita Gaines representing Roselawn. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Lamont Jones says Grande Powerful Royal People representing Westwood. I still have to read it slow. I promise you, I don't understand the phenomenon, but I literally, when I look at that, I see the word purple, and I have to stop and read each word to make sure. Y'all know how it is. Daryl Carpenter in the house. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Got Jacqueline Carter in the house, representing Evanston. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Y'all, we got a few things to talk about today. I missed yesterday, so I got to talk just a little bit. And when I say just a little bit, I mean just a little bit. Like, if I spend 3 minutes, I've spent 2 minutes too long. The Pope died. Now, I don't say that to be disrespectful, because he's a guy. You got to someone died. So, to me, that's sad, because there are people who love them and who are going to miss them. So that's why, I'll be sad about it. Like, oh, they gone. On the other hand, it is what it is. People die. It happens. So, is it appropriate to say shout out to the Pope? Shout out to the Pope, man. You, to my knowledge, you didn't do nothing to me. So, I don't sit around wishing for people to be dead or anything like that. So, and to all of the people who knew and loved him, and then to all of those people who worship him, I think something wrong with y'all. You shouldn't be worshiping no man. But a lot of people do, a lot of people do. So, Pope is gone. They're having some issues, because, he died at the wrong time, if that make any sense. I was listening to, they're not, allowed to mourn or to have like a certain kind of mass to mourn the dead during kind of this Easter week period. So they can't, some of the churches aren't allowed to do what they want to do to honor him because it's the Easter week, and some of them it's like, well, we don't care about the Easter week, we're gonna do it anyway. So they're like, we're not gonna obey the rules because of him. So I mean, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. The man is dead, and they'll have to choose a new pope. They'll have to choose a new pope. And you know, not too long ago I watched the movie shoot. Now it just slipped my mind, just like that. But y'all know the movie that I'm talking about, where they chose a new pope. It was a decent movie. It was a decent movie. I didn't like that little twist at the end. I'm not gonna say what the twist was because some of y'all might not have watched it. But they had that little conclave. Thank you, Daryl. They had that little twist at the end. They could have did without the twist at the end. It didn't add anything to the movie. Like, if you haven't watched the movie and you plan on watching the movie, there's a twist at the end that won't affect the movie one way or another. Like, it has zero effect on the movie. I guess they just thought it was topical. So, but yeah. There you go. There's that. They have to have a conclave and elect a new pope. We'll see what happens. Tanika says, please don't tell the movie. Well, I mean, clearly it's the movie about a conclave and they're electing a new pope. By the name of the movie and the promotional pieces that put out about the movie, there's not much mystery about the movie, except that there's a twist at the end. And they could have did without it. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. But yeah, they got to elect a new pope. It is what it is. So that's that. That's all. That's really all I have to say. Crystal says, Emanuel, can you share with me any suggestions for where I can advertise for musicians for my band? My mom retired and she passed the torch on to me. Crystal, I didn't know that you were in a band. They do have on Facebook, since I see you're on Facebook, there's a Cincinnati musicians page. I don't know if you have to be invited to it or not, but if you're on there, I see a lot of people on there say, hey, looking for a singer, looking for a bass player, looking for a keyboard player. I'm not going to go through everything, but there's always someone on there saying they're looking for someone. So I'm in the group, so I'll invite you to the group, and you know, you never know. You never know. So that's it on the Pope. I don't know, somebody pointed out that I didn't finish saying my hellos. Let's see, where did I leave out? Where did I leave off? I said Lamont. I said Daryl. I said Jacqueline representing Evanston. I believe she was the last one. Pamela Kinney representing North Avondale. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Alethea, one of the Killer Bees in the house. You know, I like when the Killer Bees is in the house. I like pushback. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm not one of those people who like people to agree with me. I like a little bit of a challenge me. You know what I'm saying? I like a little pushback. I know it's hard to do because I'll be right all the time. But, you know, I might have the right idea, come to the right conclusion, and have a little something off over here, little something off over there. I like pushback, so I like when the Killer Bees is here. Alethea, good afternoon. Samuel Campbell Jr. in the house. Good afternoon. Let's see, LaDonna. LaDonna says, hey, didn't know you were on. LaDonna Howard, good afternoon. I want to know how they keep his body laying in state for days without embalming him. I don't know a whole lot about dead bodies, so I don't know. Maybe they vacuum sealing inside the thing. I don't know. Let me see. Samuel said Western Hill. Samuel said he's representing East Walnut Hills. LaDonna's representing Western Hills. Tanika in the house. Good afternoon, Tanika. She's representing Orlando, Florida. My good friend. And it's a nice, beautiful day here, too. So we're really good friends. Andrea Bustle. Good afternoon. She's representing downtown. Terry Anderson. Good afternoon. Representing downtown. I think this is it. I think I got everybody. Black Lion in the house. Good afternoon, Black Lion. I want to talk about your mannerism. I don't know what that even means. Alethea, I genuinely don't know what that means. Let me see. Dominique. Oh, we got both the Killer Bees in the house. You can't beat that. Representing Walnut Hills. Good afternoon. Danny Dozier representing Westwood. Good afternoon. Yes, we're friends today. It's a beautiful day out. It's a beautiful day. I think I got to everybody. Valisa Lovett, representing Blue Ash. Good afternoon. Yeah, I think I got to everybody. I said good afternoon to Dominique Finley. I said everybody. Okay, there's that. You got the Pope. He's no longer with us. If you want to comment on the Pope no longer being with us, you can give me a call, 513-717-KING. That's 513-717-5464. I think I got the phones. Hold on, I just closed something that I should not have closed. Sorry. I think I got the phones working right. I did something over the weekend because I had to take some cables over to the church to test out a theory that I had that ended up being correct, by the way. And so I left those cables there, and then they'll buy some cables, and then I'll get my cables back. But so I had to go into my thing, and I had to do some stuff. So hopefully everything sounds good when callers call in. Hopefully everything sounds fine. Let's see. What else? I had a few other topics that I wanted to discuss. I'm debating which way to go with this because there's a lot of topics. Some of them are a little more serious than other topics, and some of them I can say it, get in, and get out. I can say what I gotta say, boom, I said it, and then get out. I think I'm gonna leave that one. It's trivial. It's really trivial. I'm gonna leave it to the end. And then some of these I don't know how to discuss, y'all. Kanye West. Oh, how do I say this so that it don't sound? Kanye West says allegedly, maybe in a rap song, and people are saying it's like true, and I think he put out some tweets and stuff like that him and his cousin, who's a male, they was performing sex acts on each other, fellaciating each other, like from the age of 6 to 14. And he say, apparently, allegedly, from the age of 6 to the age of 14, I guess they saw some dirty magazines and they wanted to do what they saw the people do on the dirty magazines. Yeah, LaDonna, Kanye West, apparently, allegedly, admittedly, Him and his they did it to each other from the ages of 6 to the ages of 14. I could see people gonna try to take this out of context. I could see a 6-year-old not understanding. I could see a 6-year-old not understanding. 14, you like in the 9th, 10th grade. Think back to when you were in the 9th, 10th grade. You was in high school. A freshman or a sophomore in high school. You kind of have an idea that you shouldn't be sucking your cousin's, you haven't. 6 years old, maybe you didn't know. About 14? Maybe that's, and I don't want to say the man is messed up because I don't know him. I don't know him. But that's a lot. That's a lot. And he say he and his cousin, or it's alleged that he and his cousin kind of agreed that that's something they would take to their graves, which makes sense. There's some things people just take to their graves. People think that everybody admit to doing everything that they do, but no, people take stuff to their graves. That's something that you might want to take to your grave. Kanye said, hey, you ain't free until you let it go. You know what I'm saying? So I had to put it out there so that I could be free. But he say his cousin is in jail for killing somebody because he told him that they wouldn't do that no more or something. It's a whole crazy situation. And I'm sorry, but I blame their mamas and daddies. Sierra, yes, you missed all the hellos. Al Johnson says Middletown in the house, good afternoon. I see Mary Birch Lavender in the house, good afternoon. I blame their mamas and daddies. That little baby is 7. Okay? The little baby is 7. Let's say little baby stumble on something and, whatever, she gets some crazy ideas in her head. She is not alone enough with anybody else to act on it. And he talking about 6, a 6-year-old. How long are you leaving 6-year-olds alone? There's a lot of reasons why we need people to do some good parenting. There's a lot of reasons. Because stuff like this actually happens. Now, I don't know if it actually happened to him, even though he kind of saying that it did. You never know. He might just be saying it for the sake of saying it. Mary says, how old was he? He says from the age of 6 to the age of 14. From 6 to 14. A 6-year-old would not have that opportunity. Not if I'm watching them. But yeah, it's crazy out here. It's people ain't necessarily always doing their job as parents. They're not always doing their jobs. What else I got? Yeah, he said some stuff about he and I'm a proponent to some degree of what happened in the house, stay in your house. You know what I'm saying? My mama used to tell us that. Hey, what happened in this house, stay in this house. I'm a proponent of that except for when it's kind of, you know. And if y'all didn't talk about it when y'all was kids, and it's done and it's over and it ain't happening no more, but I guess you can't really tell nobody, you know what I'm saying, how to get free. Who am I to tell that man how to get free? But I think I would have just been like, it is what it is. It happened. Whatever happened, happened. I'm grown. I got, talk to a therapist or whatever. And that's something I don't have to put out there for public consumption. Everything don't have to be put out for public consumption. Tanika says, abuse needs to be exposed. I agree. But who, in this alleged situation, who's exposed? Who's exposed? He's exposed. His cousin is exposed. And it might put him in his cousin in a bad situation. Because if his cousin is in prison for murder, and y'all know, I ain't never been to prison. I don't ever hope to go to prison. I hear stories about prison, whether or not those stories are true. But he might have put his cousin in a bad situation. Mary says the victim. Who's the victim in that situation, Mary? Who's the victim? They both victims. They both victims. Tanika said, I'm referring to your statement about what your mom said. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's the exception that I make. If my mama and my daddy have an argument, I don't need to be outside telling everybody my mom and my daddy had an argument. I don't need to be going to school telling the teachers my mama and my daddy had an argument. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. That's what happened in this house, stay in this house. That type of stuff. No, abuse. I'm a huge proponent of, I'm anti-abuse. I'm a huge proponent of tell. Somebody inappropriately touch you, tell. Ron says, I asked the wrong question. Well, what's the right question? What's the right question? Chelsea says, us cousins used to be alone all the time as kids, but wasn't nothing going on for sure. Y'all wasn't alone at 5 and 6 at my house. I tell you that. Y'all wasn't alone at 5 and 6 at my house. And it was like 12 of y'all. Y'all ain't sneaking off doing that stuff. Somebody was gonna tell. You know Angel would have told. Stop it. You know Angel would have told. But yeah, that whole situation is sad, a little creepy. And I genuinely don't understand it. Because again, at 14, but if you've been doing it since 6, then maybe it takes you until 14 to figure it out. I don't know. But so you got that going on. Anybody hear about y'all all know the story of the 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony? This was in Texas, stabbed the other guy at the track meet. The story is, it was self-defense, that this guy was a little bit of a bully, and he was standing somewhere where the boy didn't want him to be standing, and the boy allegedly told him, don't put your hands on me and all of that kind of stuff, and he stabbed him. I don't know why I did that for stabbing. I don't. he stabbed him, and he died. He was arrested, given a large bond. His bond was reduced to what, 250,000, or was it 25,000? I don't remember. I think it was 250,000. But they've had to move that young man to an undisclosed location. They had to move that man that young man to an undisclosed location. But I'm glad to see that he has people around him, a dad, a family, a community around him. And they, look, of course you say my kid is kind of innocent by way of self-defense. But, look, we understand the system, and, just give him his day in court. Give him his day in court. And while y'all all tripping, we got other kids here. And people don't be bringing up other stuff. Like, I be wanting them to say, hold on. This ain't what y'all was saying when, and his name just escaped me, the dude that illegally took the assault rifle to the protest. This was in Wisconsin. What was his name? And shot somebody. And y'all took up money for him and, made a celebrity out of him. The young white guy. Thank you, Kyle Rittenhouse. Y'all understand self-defense when it's a young white kid defending himself? Which, that wasn't self-defense. But y'all understand that. But y'all don't seem to understand this could be self-defense. And then you got people who still want to act like racism don't exist no more, like we have overcome, and then let's move past racism. Ron says Kyle Rittenhouse, and the shoe was on the other foot, and it's just all more relativism. I'm just saying, I felt the same way about Kyle. He should get a fair trial. I don't think his trial was a fair trial. I think his trial was a sham trial. But I thought he should have got a fair trial. He was found not guilty after that fake cry. After that, the fake cry, he was found not guilty. He was found not guilty. The system is what it is. He got off. It is what it is. But they were allowed to collect money for him. Now, I guess they could still technically collect money. Just they can't do it through GoFundMe. Because didn't GoFundMe kind of take that money back? Like, he had a nice piece of money collected, and GoFundMe took that money back, last I read. Fame says black children, especially black boys, aren't given grace. Black children have to be fully polished adults at 12 years old. Well, I don't know. I see it. It's sad that the boy had to go into hiding. The young man. I keep calling him a boy. But 17 is a boy to me, 17-year-old is a boy to me. But the young man, right, Dina. Kyle drove to the protest with a rifle. He had no business there. There was no reason for what he did. He got off because he was white. I fully believe that. But either way, in the interim, leave those young men alone. Let the justice system handle it. It worked for Kyle. Let it work for, I don't forgot his name that quick, Carmelo. Let it work for Carmelo as well. What else? What else? I really don't even want to talk about Shannon Sharp. Allegedly, Shannon Sharp out here sexually assaulting. I was about to call her a little girl. Young women. Sexually assaulting young women. Daryl says the eyewitness said it wasn't at a school. It was a track meet at a public track. It started raining, so Carmelo went and sat under the tent to get out of the rain. The tent was not designated for any team, so the twin brother approached him and told him to move and put their hands on him. So Carmelo reached, grabbed his knife to defend himself. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. And I kind of support that. Look, I'm going to tell y'all, this is way out of left field and almost sounds like it has nothing to do with this. But to some degree, I think it does. I just watched that documentary on, I think on Netflix, about the Oklahoma City bombing, right? The McVeigh, set the bomb, blew up the Murrah building in Oklahoma City, killed 168 people, 19 of them children, all of that kind of stuff. And as they were doing their investigation, they got to the point where they realized Timothy McVeigh, and nobody says this is an excuse, but I'm beginning to think this might be a bit of an excuse, that Timothy McVeigh was bullied as a young kid, because he was, kind of awkward, kind of skinny, just the generic stuff that people bully people for. I think we got to get to, as a society, we got to get to a point where bullying is not okay. Where bullying is not okay. Ron says you can't stab or shoot anyone just because they put their hands on you. That's not necessarily true. Legally, that's not necessarily true, Ron. There are states, laws all over the place where those stand your ground laws. Those stand your ground laws. They don't, if you feel like your life is in danger, you have a right to use deadly force. I mean, ain't nobody even really had to put their hands on you. They can just make you feel like your life is in danger. So just from a legal standpoint, I think what you're saying is wrong. In particular, like Mary is saying, in Texas, and I'm not all that well schooled on their stand your ground law, but I've been told that their stand your ground law is very much broad. Ron says you're not standing your ground just because somebody put their hands on you and can use a weapon. No, you are. Hold on, somebody calling? I didn't hear no calls. Wait. Was that today? Oh, I'm sorry, that was CK, and I didn't hear the call, which means that the sound ain't working right on my end. But I'll figure that out. But no, if somebody else say your phone ringing. Yeah, I didn't hear the phone ringing. So caller, if you're calling, you can call back, and I'll get the sound together. So it might take a second or two to figure it out, but I'll get the sound together. Okay, I see a call coming in. I don't hear it, so let's accept the call. Okay, caller, I need you to talk to me. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Livingston?
Okay, I see
Can you
you,
hear me?
but I don't hear you. Hold
Uh-oh, we having technical difficulties.
on. Four should be direct out. Should be direct out channel 10. All right, caller.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Okay, I still can't
Can
hear
you
you,
hear me?
so I'm gonna have to do this. This is gonna be all bad. I think this is gonna be all bad, y'all. Caller.
Hey, how you doing, Livingston?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. What happened? We having technical difficulties?
Well, I had to change some stuff up on Sunday, and I had to go and reprogram the board. But you're on now. So what's on your mind?
Oh, yeah, I respect the game. You know what I'm saying? I understand. You feel me? You got a good show, but the stuff you was just talking about was exquisite. You was talking about some exquisite stuff. It was good. We had two topics. Two topics you had just touched on. You said shunning sharp. You didn't really want to put too much, but then you said a good topic right before that. It was a good topic right before the shunning sharp. That's what I'm trying to hit you with, that one.
All right.
Remember that one? What was that?
I'm not sure.
That's what I'm saying. That's see, when we both old, we can't remember. See, when you dealing with a younger person, at least a young one, be like, man, I was just talking about that. But when you dealing with another 50-year-old, we just both forgot the last thing we was talking about. Damn.
Well, I mean, I don't remember what I said immediately before I said something about Shannon Sharp. I talked a little maybe about bullying.
There it is. Yeah. About the Carmelo Anthony court case.
Yes.
That's what you were talking. That one right there is so fascinating, sir. I wanted to talk to you about that Carmelo Anthony case.
What are your thoughts?
Man, I feel that the man felt that his life was in danger, so he defended himself, Livingston.
All right.
He was outnumbered, Emanuel.
But you know what?
So by him,
you know
yes,
what?
sir.
Let me say this though, CK, and this is just me, and I know Ron doesn't necessarily agree with this, but I genuinely believe if you put your hands on somebody in a violent way, they got a right to do whatever they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you slap me and I want to take you out, I got a right to take you out because you should have never put your hands on me. I shouldn't have to fear for my life. You don't put your hands on people. It's that simple. If you don't do it, I don't have to respond, and then you don't have to worry about what's my response of like. No, none of that matter. Don't violently put your hands on people.
Yes. And like you said, I think don't put your hands on people violently, and I think you should never threaten anyone under zero circumstances, Livingston. Zero threats. That's a rule I'm throwing out there. How do you feel about a zero threat policy?
I agree with zero threats. Now, I don't necessarily agree that just because somebody threatened to put their hands on you, that you got a right to take them out. But I don't believe, I believe you threatening me should be treated as if you actually did whatever the threat was. But not from my perspective, like from a legal perspective. So if you threaten to shoot me, you should be charged as if you shot me. If you threaten to assault me, you should be charged as if you assaulted me. And then maybe people will stop threatening people.
No, the fear of my threat leads to my demise. I tell Livingston I'm going to murder him and his whole family. He reacts with a assassin bullet to my head. If I would have never threatened that man, I would never be dead. The threats are the problem. Stop running your mouth. It's about actions. See, I got all the solutions, sir. If we stop, because how many times have you heard, man, I'm gonna slap the shit out there, dude, when I see you.
Yeah,
Man, I'll slap.
yeah.
You hear
I
that?
don't agree
That's
that.
dehumanizing,
Yeah,
sir.
but I don't agree that because of a threat, I should be allowed to, unless I'm in a position to carry that threat out. You know what I'm saying? Like if you and me, we standing there, and then you like, you know, I'm gonna slap the S out of you or whatever. Then if I
Hmm.
believe that you actually, you know what I'm saying, you got the thought in your head and it's something where you could actually do it, like you look mad, like you look like you really thinking about doing this. Now I got a right to defend myself. But you know, just
And
like,
bomb first, so you can throw the first blow, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Morally, and legally, you're right.
But I don't know
Because
about
I'm the one
legally. I
running
don't
that.
think legally that's right.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
the
it
one.
should be right, but I don't think it is.
I'm an intimate threat.
That was close. But I'm not sure that you are. Just because you said it
Now,
doesn't mean that you are.
mhm. I love talking to your program because we are changing lives every time we speak on the platform. You do understand those young people, all those subscribers you got, when they hear what we say, they know we speak from a place of wisdom and nonviolence. See, young people respect nonviolence. Violence is a language. That's understood by everyone, even children. Everybody know violence. You might not understand what I'm saying, but you're gonna understand violence. Gunshots, punches to the face, slaps. This is a universal language we speak. And if you stop speaking violence, you save lives, Livingston. You save lives, one at a time.
With you. All right.
And that's all I be wanting to get through to your public. When I see people like LaDonna and Tanika on your platform, I want them to understand that what we're doing is not playtime. This is not for the internet. This is for young African American people in the community of Cincinnati, Avondale, Ohio.
That's right. Call them
To
out.
further their education.
Yeah.
Huh?
All right. No. I think I agree with you. You got anything else?
Yeah. As far as the Shannon Sharp thing, I just want you to understand. This is what I would tell you about the young Bill Cosby when they tried to get him when he was a young lad. This is what they do to people that get millions of dollars. Shannon Sharp has a $50 million deal on the table. So as the Jewish community always does, they throw their weapons at the African American rich dudes to destroy them completely.
Oh my goodness.
You got to remember that. Don't run from it. You cannot criticize your own people, but then when it comes to those people, I notice you're real hands off when it comes to Jewish people. No, criticize them for what they doing to your people. That's what I want you to realize. You scared. It seems like you're scared of those people.
I don't agree that that's what's happening.
You don't think that Shannon Sharp is being accosted by a Jewish person?
No.
Mm.
I think Shannon Sharp made some bad decisions, and they're kind of coming back to haunt him. That's it.
The bad decision was him to become wealthy, sir.
No.
That's the only bad decision.
No, the bad decision was apparently him to be having sex with that young person. And not protecting himself.
Will you explain to me what's wrong with it?
Well,
What is wrong with it?
I think it shows a lack of character and judgment and maturity. But just putting that aside, you have to understand, unless he's just a complete idiot, he has to understand, for real, he has to understand that he is a celebrity and that celebrities do get put in bad situations sometimes because of their celebrity. And
exactly.
He has to understand that he's a man and that men sometimes get put in bad situations sexually when they don't take steps to protect themselves. And being a male celebrity out there sleeping with a young girl, you are putting yourself in harm's way and you're not protecting yourself. You don't blame Jewish people for that. I blame Shannon for that.
So, okay, hold on. This makes no damn sense. What
Look,
you
if
said. So when
Shannon,
yo,
if Shannon said, I never had sex with that woman, then I'm like, they out to get Shannon. If Shannon said, hey, I have plenty of evidence that none of that ever happened, then produce that evidence, and then maybe they out to get him. But Shannon he made some decisions that created an opening for someone to exploit. You have to be wise enough in his position to understand that there are people who will exploit that opening, so you don't give it to them.
Sir, may I have a rebuttal, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, sir. What is the difference with his decisions and those of Johnny Carson when his wife walked off with over half of his money? Same results. Same, but the bitch older.
No.
Why y'all blaming it on the young?
No,
so if your wife,
same.
so I'm saying, if your wife
same.
take half of your money, what's the difference?
CK, that's not the same. It's not
okay,
the same.
Talk to me.
You're telling me that being accused of sexual assault is the same as getting a divorce? They're not the same.
Financially.
No. But there
okay.
are much more than just financial consequences. So if you're only talking about money, that sounds silly, but okay. But you're not just talking about money.
How credible are my allegations towards you, sir? We can say anything. So what does it really mean, allegations, if it's not from a credible source? If I could on here and say, Emanuel assaulted me last night, how credible is it? It really doesn't mean anything. So you could lie about anything.
If I got evidence if you got evidence that I hit you, and then I admit, like, yeah, I hit him, but he wanted me to hit him.
Mm-hmm.
And you like, no, I didn't want him to hit me, but he hit me.
There it is. You just proved my point.
No, I didn't. I still hit you.
No, listen. Shannon Sharp never admitted to raping this woman. She's accusing him of rape.
Right.
He never admitted to that.
Right.
She's lying on him to get the bag.
This
is open and shut.
First, there's no way for you to know. I object to you saying that she's lying. You don't know if she's lying. And to just say that people who accuse someone of rape just automatically you're lying, that's offensive.
Okay.
Because that will make people who are victims of sexual assault not want to come forward.
Yes, sir. Rebuttal. I got you right here. Now I got you. You set me up for it. Because look, the evidence shows that I did not take those cheeks. She offered them for $25K a piece. I didn't take those cheeks. She wanted $25K a piece. So that shows that when I didn't give her the money, now she came with this flimflammery accusation. So I have proof to show that these are false accusations, sir, based on her prostituting herself.
No, that's not.
Got you, but I got you.
No, you don't. And it's
I got you.
You don't have me. You don't have her. The idea. Look. Do you believe that a man can rape his wife?
Yes, I think anything's possible, yes.
So do you believe a prostitute can be raped?
Indeed. It has happened before.
So just because I agreed to have sex with this person for this amount of money doesn't mean on a separate occasion, or maybe even during that occasion, they didn't rape me.
Exactly.
So
hold on. Okay. Oh, you're right. Okay, I got to give you that. I'm gonna give you that point. But it's on the same opposite. All I'm saying is that's why the rape accusation is the greatest accusation, because of what you're saying. You can make a fake accusation and it can never be proven to be fake.
Oh, that's not necessarily true.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not necessarily true. Look, if I was out there messing around with people I shouldn't be messing around with based on my opinion of the way things should happen. You know what I'm gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do stuff to protect myself. It's gonna be a camera somewhere, and everything gonna be recorded. So when that person come back and say Emanuel took it, I can be like, no, I didn't. Here's the video.
But the brain is gone.
No, I didn't. Here is the agreement. You know what I'm saying? We signed, because she's signing an agreement to be recorded. That we agreeing for sex and the recording, the whole nine. If I'm out there being reckless, that's what I'm doing, especially if I'm some big celebrity.
So you're not being reckless,
making
sir. Hold on. You
$50
just did
million or whatever.
Hiroshima. That was a Hiroshima, sir. If you're making them sign consent forms and all this, that's not being reckless. That's being very responsible, sir. That's an oxymoron. You're not being reckless and you got to sign this stuff.
You got to sign it
being
every
responsible,
time.
sir.
And again, because you being reckless, you better record it too. Put that in the signed agreement. We recording this session.
Why you think you got all them babies and I ain't got none? Because you was being reckless with your thing. I was strapping up with that. I was strapped.
What?
I stayed strapped.
What are you talking
I stayed
about?
strapped my whole life.
What are you talking about?
You got babies. I ain't got no kids out here.
It ain't my. I'm not even gonna follow that up. But all right. Anything else? You got anything else to say?
I got you with that one.
You did.
I'm not going to follow that one.
That was nonsense. That was nonsensical. All right, CK. Hey, I appreciate you.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All right. That was CK. Yeah, I don't even know what he was getting at with the last point about you got all them babies. I have one biological child. All them babies? I don't even know what he's talking about. Okay. All right, Chelsea. I have one biological. Oh, and I was married. But all right. Yeah, no. Shannon put himself in that situation. And now he's got to deal with the fallout. Whether there was some actual stuff going on or not, he's got to deal with the fallout. And she's got a recording of him telling her he gonna choke the S out of her. And then, all that stuff. I listened to the recording of him telling her, she's complaining about him manipulating her. And he tells her he doesn't like that word. And if she say that word one more time, when he see her, he gonna choke the S out of her. And she says, well, I don't want to be choked. And he said, well, you ain't got no choice. You can't. And then it's just warning signs. You know what I'm saying? If choking isn't always a bad thing. He wasn't saying it. Again, she was saying, I don't like being manipulated by you. I don't remember the exact wording. But I don't like, this feels like manipulation. And he tells her, I don't like that word. Say that word one more time and I'm going to choke the S out of you. That feels like a bad thing. That feels like, you know what I'm saying, just listening to the conversation, it felt like a bad thing. It didn't feel like, girl, I'm going to choke you. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like that kind of, I'm going to choke you. And if you with somebody who's accusing you of manipulating them, it might not be a good idea to be with that person. So, yeah, Shannon, I don't know what's going to happen. But, look, if I don't know nothing else, Jacqueline said he said they didn't play the whole recording, only the part that made him look. Of course, you're only going to play the part that makes him look bad. Of course. Of course, that's what they're going to do. They try to get $50 million. You only play the part that make you look bad. My point is not that I'm saying that he did or that he didn't. My point is I don't know what he did. Except I know that he put himself in this position because, in my opinion, he made some bad decisions. Brent.
Hey, what's going on, Emanuel?
Hey, Brent, how you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. All right. We'll start with the serious stuff, get into the somewhat not so serious.
Brent,
Yes,
before
sir.
you do that, hang up and call me back.
10-4.
Let me reset this thing, because this thing is coming up bad. I'm hearing that little crackling, and I still haven't figured that part of it out yet. I don't know what's going on with their stuff. So, all right. Now you can go ahead and call back, Brent. All right, Brent.
All right. Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah, I think I accidentally connected to the Buzz Wi-Fi, so my apologies.
No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. It's this phone system here.
Oh, okay, with the cracking again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we'll start with the serious stuff first with Carmelo Anthony, the Frisco team.
Yes.
And you were asking about the stand your ground law.
Yes.
Down here, and it's somewhat vague, which leaves it up for interpretation, and I've yet to see a successful stand your ground law for somebody black, because we're always presumed to be guilty, and the white people are presumed to be innocent. So it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But it pretty much says, what does it say? You can defend yourself within necessary force, including deadly force, just as long as you're in a place where you are legally allowed to be, and there is an immediate threat. And they talk about proportionality, which sort of contradicts or conflicts with that whole, reasonable, necessary force. So, because they're saying you can't use deadly force for something non-deadly. Well, how do you know that at the time? You really don't know.
Right, because a punch in the head in the right place can be deadly.
Yeah, don't cops all the time say that, hey, what was it, Timothy Thomas had a brick and there was, at least 5+ of them and they feared for their life?
Well, that wasn't Timothy Thomas, but yes.
Oh.
I don't remember that brother's name. Oh, I can't remember his name. But no, that wasn't Timothy Thomas. But yes, to your point.
Yeah, but the one guy, yeah. So it was him. Well, he was there, and then it was, I can't even think of the young man's name that wound up getting killed, but also at least a couple of his buddies that were known bullies that had broken his phone and picked on him. And from some of the stuff I read, that he even at a party that they were both at, grabbing his girlfriend's butt and everything. So, but they're always going to spin it to where we don't get the benefit of the doubt. And, we know those laws were written for white people to be able to gun down black people because, times have changed to where they couldn't do it anymore and not wind up at least in front of a jury.
Right.
So that DA and that officer had an opportunity to where they could have just said, nope, stand your ground law, and then let it be worked out in the opposite. But he winds up with a $250,000 bond, which is insane. As for a 17-year-old who wasn't a gangbanger, 4.0 student, had offer letters to, I think it was Harvard or some other Ivy League school. So it's crazy. But, that's, welcome to America.
Yes, and a number of people have given it was Lorenzo Collins with the brick.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, but I agree with you on all of that, yes.
Okay, and Easter Sunday, we'll go back to Sunday for that. Did you guys have anyone join the church or give their life to Christ?
No, not at any of the churches that I attend. But they were both packed out. But no, nobody joined or anything.
Okay. Yeah, so man, we just going to two different sets of churches, because this one, they had, I think it was like 4 or 5 that I attended, where they from young to old. So I think the youngest kid was maybe about 15, and the one guy looked to be well in his 70s, I would say, and then ladies in between there. So it's just amazing how different parts of the country, different areas, churches operate differently.
It might just be in different churches, because who knows, the church right down the street might have had 10 people join. It just yeah.
And something happened at that church that I'm debating on whether I should post it or not. But they did the praise dance. They had the ladies on stage. They were doing it to Kirk Franklin. He has risen.
Okay.
And then at the end, he's not dead. I'm not Tamika or you. Well, I ain't heard you, so I may be you. But but everyone's focused on the stage, and then out the corner of my eye, I see something in white, in all white, coming down the center aisle, and I'm like, okay. It took me a second. I'm like, is that supposed to be Jesus? And then I looked, and I was like, oh, that is supposed to be Jesus. And then in my head, I'm like, oh, that ain't my Jesus. And I couldn't look at him because it was, how, so in the Bible where Jesus fed the 5,000, besides women and children, with 2 fishes and 5 loaves.
Okay.
And then afterwards, they had a whole bunch of bits and pieces left over.
Uh-huh.
Well, this Jesus ate all of them. So he wasn't the typical archetype that you would expect for Jesus. And so I just, every time I would look up, I would find myself laugh as I just looked at the wall.
Well, we don't know. Jesus might have been a heavyset brother. We don't know.
And Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights.
That was that time. That wasn't. He could be. Fat people can fast.
Mm-hmm. Well, So I'm still debating that, but we'll see if I wind up doing that. But
I thought you was gonna say he was white or something. You talking about because the man was heavy.
Look, I'm gonna post it. I just posted it so you can see for yourself, but you're gonna say the same thing. That ain't my Jesus.
Oh, my Jesus probably eat ginger snaps, so I don't know what you're talking about. That might be my Jesus.
And they even had his face covered like with the sheet, and a couple of times he almost tripped, or the little guy, the little child, he was a child, holding like the red sash behind him. He went to turn around and almost ran the little kid over. So it's like, but yeah, I'll just post it and you judge for yourself. But Shannon Sharp, because I just caught wind of this morning, but 2 things that I heard from the text message back and forth disturbed me. The first one was baby gravy, which growing up we had brown gravy, so I'm like, what's wrong with Shannon Sharp? But then I forgot, okay, there's white gravy, but I've never heard it used in that terminology. Maybe that's
wait, what? What? Because I didn't see any of the text. So what was it?
She was talking about she wanted Shannon Sharp to shoot that baby gravy inside of her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in another series of texts, she wanted, as a result of that baby gravy, she wanted a big black baby inside of her. And man, that just sounds like, one of them movies that, yeah. So
it was just
I'm
sexting, man. That ain't nothing but sexting.
Look, Shannon Sharp should have just got with, what was her name? Lisa. He's like the reverse Lisa, because that sounds like some, big house madam, and the strong buck out in the field, coming up there. Man, that's too, too Gone with the Wind for me. So but that's all I had on that one. But I was trying to give LaDonna ample time to get her notes together and think about the past 3 days that were some highs and lows. But I'll go ahead and jump in with the wrestling report, and this is WrestleMania edition.
All right.
And don't have much actually. So, because, with 2 nights, we could go on for about a good hour and a half.
2 nights and the Raw after WrestleMania. So.
Yes. But I'm going to try to keep it to no more than 5 minutes. So keep me to it unless you ask questions that may extend it out. But let's start with the great stuff. And that was night 1 main event, where you had Roman Reigns versus CM Punk with the wise man, Paul Heyman in his corner, and Seth freaking Rollins, which during his entry he had on. I saw someone's comment that he went from Missy Elliott to who was it? to like KC or something, because he was in all black, puffy black, and he had the Rock's flamethrower. I don't know if you caught that. But then all of a sudden he switched to white, and I was like, what in the world is going on here? But typical triple threat match, back and forth. Paul Heyman is doing Paul Heyman greatness. And then we get to the well, I'm not going to say that. We get to the major part, where he goes and grabs a chair, and he is looking sad, and it's between CM Punk, his best friend, and Roman Reigns, which he is the wise man, and he slides the chair towards CM Punk. And Roman Reigns is shocked, and he's crying, "I'm sorry, my tribal chief," and everything. And he gets in the ring, too, and I'm sitting there like, he's not about to do it. Hits CM Punk with the low blow. He falls over, and Roman Reigns is ecstatic. So CM Punk gets beat down with the chair, and then they both go over to Seth Rollins and saying, you can get him back for hitting you with the chair and everything. And then all of a sudden, he low blows Roman Reigns, which I was shocked. And what made it...
I was shocked, too.
Go ahead. And what made it great was how Seth Rollins was just standing there and held out his hand for him to get the chair from Paul Heyman and commence to a couple more chair shots. It was a curve stomp, 1, 2, 3. So I was totally shocked like that. So that was great. Absolutely great match right there. I wasn't expecting that turn. But yeah. But and then the other main event for night 2, you had Cody Rhodes and John Cena, which to me that was a bad match.
Yeah,
and then you had
I
another
was
low blow.
so underwhelmed. Just
yes. Yeah. And all it took was Cody had I'm not going to use the chair, and then low blow, and then attitude adjustment, which hasn't won a match in how many years? 7 years. And for the victory. So I was, a little disappointed there. But we saw a new Intercontinental Champion with Dominic Mysterio, which I was pleasantly surprised with that.
I was surprised, too. I was actually surprised, like, almost all the titles changed hands except for the women's major champion.
Single time.
But
yeah.
Everybody else, the titles changed hands. So, yeah, I was a little surprised by that.
Yep, New Day got their titles back finally. Jacob Fatu, we knew he was going to win. We both talked about that. But you saw that Haku/Ming came to the ring and dapped him up and everything. But Haku wasn't in the script. But who the hell's going to stop Haku? Even at he's got to be at least in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was that one there? The women's match was good. The first match of night 1 was good with Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. That was a good match.
It really was. I didn't think I would like it, but yeah, they did. They put on a good match.
Yep. And I think that's all for WrestleMania. Did you have anything to add to it?
Overall, what did you think of WrestleMania night 1? If you had to give it a grade, what would you give it?
Night 1, I would give it a solid A. I would give it a solid A.
Really? Okay. I would give it maybe a C.
No, okay. Okay, so what? Since the main event was so great, what drags it down? So there had to have been some F's in there for you.
Everything in between. I think the first match was. Well, no, wait a minute.
We forgot about main event Jey Uso winning.
Yeah,
which I didn't like that.
First match. The main event was good. I think everything else was.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would you give night 2?
Night 2, man. To be honest, I fell asleep on most of it outside of the first match. So I give it an incomplete. But I did go back and watch the John Cena match because that's really the only one that really mattered.
Yeah,
because I didn't even know. Because once I started watching on Monday, I'm like, hold up, when did what's her name, the redheaded Irish girl come back?
Yeah.
And my son said she came back last night. I'm like, I fell asleep on that thing.
Yeah.
So.
I would give night 2 a B minus.
Okay.
Not
okay.
B.
So you thought night 2 was better than night 1?
I would give it a solid B. Because night 2 was the opening match with the triple threat.
Yeah.
And then everything else there was okay, except for that main event dragged it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the only 2 things I wanted to mention about Raw the next day is that John Cena got RKO'd out of nowhere, so we know what's going to be the next little mini feud there. And the return of Rusev.
The return of Rusev, yeah.
So he's back. So let's see what they're going to do with him this time, because they definitely dropped the ball the first time with him with the whole Rusev Day. They should have put a rocket on his back, and they didn't. So. But if they allow him to be dominant like he was before in WWE, but the promos, I don't know if you ever saw any of those promos in AEW, because his mic work was top notch.
Okay.
So if they can combine those 2, there's the makings of some good feuds with big guys that can actually move, and it won't be like the old Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd matches, which were.
Jason said, what about Jade Cargill and Naomi?
Jade Cargill and Naomi, Jade is still not fluid like she could be, or like hopefully that she will get to be. There were times in the match where they would go from one move and they get to the other, and they're like, oh, no, I need to be here and here, and then they would execute the move. So that's the only thing there. I don't know if it was just, the crowd, or, they didn't practice enough, or she's still green like they said she was, what took her so long to debut in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if they could have smoothed the transitions from move to move and everything, it would have been great. But I hope they continue on with Naomi's character, because she's embracing her being the heel. And I'm all in for it.
All right. Hey, I appreciate your call.
That's all I got. And you take it easy, and baby gravy, really. Okay.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Hey, I enjoyed the Naomi and Jade Cargill match, just because the wrestling, I agree with what Brent said. The wrestling ain't all that great, but I like both of them. They could just jump around in the ring for all I care. Just jump around. Turn around, jump. Turn back around, jump. Turn around, jump. Turn back around, jump. Now somebody pin somebody, go home. So, hey. All right. That's all of that. Let's see. What else? Do y'all remember Scott Peterson? Accused of killing his wife, Lacey Peterson. Y'all see that? The Innocence Project out there, in California, they say he didn't do it. And they say they got the proof. They say he didn't do it, and he got the proof, and they got the proof. Now, if you don't remember Scott Peterson, he was cheating on his wife, and then she disappeared, and they went looking for her and all that kind of stuff, and eventually they found her. She was dead, and he was accused of killing her, and he was convicted. All of that good stuff. The Innocence Project usually don't get it wrong. When they say they got proof to prove somebody's innocence, They usually get that right. And I'll be honest, if he didn't do it, I kind of feel bad because I was like, he killed that girl. You know what I'm saying? That's my mindset was, he killed that girl. I thought he did it. Yeah, she was like, 8 months, 9 months pregnant or something like that. Yeah. But they're saying he didn't do it. And for whatever reason, I tend to trust the Innocence Project. And there's nobody that I know when that whole thing was going on. There is literally nobody that I know that even thought that there was a chance that he didn't do it. No part of me said, he might not have did it. Because y'all know me, I love to, how do we know for sure that he did it? We can't say for certain that he did. I'm not sure that he did it. I was pretty sure that he did it. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I'm interested, Daryl. It didn't seem to me that, and the fact that you was messing around, you know what I'm saying? You cheating on your wife. Again, he put himself in a position to be accused. Like, if you out there cheating on your wife, you better hope she don't end up not alive no more. You better hope that she don't end up, I mean, you got a chance. You know what I'm saying? Something happened to your wife and you faithful and a good dude, you got a chance. You're gonna be the prime suspect, but you got a chance. But let them find out you was cheating on her, it's over. It's over for you. So yeah, he made some decisions as well. CK says, cheating on your wife has nothing to do with murdering your wife. Your analogy is ridiculous. I don't know that I was giving an analogy. I was saying, if you're cheating on your wife and she somehow disappears, you are definitely gonna be a suspect. People just gonna immediately believe you did it. So he was cheating on her. He wanted to get rid of her. I'm just telling you, it's not don't be out there cheating. Women, if you cheating on your husband and he disappear, yeah, the police gonna believe whatever you say. That's all right. It's just the way it is. It's wrong. Women get away with stuff the men can't get away with. And if you cheating and he disappear, they not gonna believe just right out the gate that you did it. Cry a couple tears, and then they gonna find out you was cheating, and you, but I didn't want him to die, and they gonna believe you. You might still be kind of the prime suspect, but if you cry right, people will have sympathy for you. Nobody had sympathy for Scott Peterson. Like, because I'm kind of with you, Daryl, I'm still like, and who are we to tell people how to react? Who am I to tell you how to react when your wife disappears? Like, he wasn't sad enough. You know, he's sad. That's just the way he expresses his sadness. No, he didn't seem worried enough. I didn't see no tears. You know what I'm saying? We do that to people. But people respond to the same thing different ways. Verta said, you're right. If you didn't kill her, you better have a rock solid alibi. Like you were visiting the planet Mars at the time she disappeared. Because even then, and you know why he went to Mars? Because he had set it up for somebody to kidnap her and kill her. Because he wanted her out the way. But I was on Mars. Y'all know I couldn't have killed her and then flew to Mars and then came back. Then I couldn't have done it. You had somebody do it. Like it don't matter. Dale says he did it. Innocence Project says he didn't, so I am interested to hear the evidence that they have. I saw they said something about a burned out vehicle with a bloody mattress in it that they believe is connected to this case, but they said they have proof. So I'm interested to see what happens. Interested to see what happens with that. And in is it? Hold on, I have to look the story up again. The Supreme Court. Hold on. See, because I had this story pulled up, but I accidentally shut something down, and that's the one that I accidentally shut down. Where is this out of? Maryland. This is out of Maryland. The Supreme Court is looking at a case. I try to describe this stuff to y'all to the best of my understanding. Apparently, in Maryland, there was a school district in, I just pulled it up and I'm looking at it. There's a school district that says that teachers have to, not should, not can, teachers have to read a certain amount of books dealing with LGBTQ relationships, right? There were some people, you know, who felt like they weren't being represented. And so they, you know, they say, hey, this should be the rule. This should be the way it is, that teachers should have to read some LGBTQ stories to the kids, like elementary kids. And so they made it a rule. And now some of the people, well, not now, but some of the people who don't necessarily agree with all that LGBT stuff, some Muslims, some, hold on, I'm trying to scroll. A group of Muslim, Christian, and Jewish parents sued the Montgomery County Board of Education because they said they do not want their children to have to sit and listen to a book filled with LGBT relationship stuff read to their children. So they're not trying to get the district to say it's against the rules to read it. They just wanted the district to say, my kid should be able to opt out. I don't want my kid listening to stories. They said the school is not giving them advance notice or an opportunity to opt out. They're not giving advance notice or the opportunity to opt out. And that's all they want. Tell us when it's going to happen. Because if you tell me, okay, we reading the gay book today, I'm like, all right, you not going to school today. They reading the gay book today. I don't have to tell the kid that, you know. But I'll probably tell them, they reading that gay shit today. You know, you're not going. No, I wouldn't say that to the kid. But they reading the gay book today. So you have that opportunity that day to say, you staying home. Or, you know, hey, when y'all read the gay book, I don't want my kid in the room. I don't, whatever y'all do not send my kid. I don't want my kid in the room when you read the gay book. Well, they say no. You don't have the opportunity to opt out, and we're not giving you no advance warning. And the Supreme Court is taking this case up. It has gotten all the way to the Supreme Court. On Tuesday, the parents' attorney, Eric Baxter, and Principal Deputy Solicitor General Sarah Harris, representing the Trump administration, argued that the parents are being pressured to abandon or modify their religious beliefs to access public education. Baxter likened the lessons to indoctrination and urged the judges to side with the parents, forcing the school board to reinstate its opt-out notices and give parents advance notice. Again, they are not even saying, we don't want you reading the gay books. They just saying, tell us when it's going to happen, or just allow us to opt out. And people don't know which way the Supreme Court is going to go with this. Now, people are saying it appears that the Supreme Court is going to side with the parents who want to opt out. But ain't really no telling. But I'm going to have to say, I agree with the parents on this one. I agree with the Trump administration on this one. I agree with... I was watching, they were interviewing this gay couple, which, you do what you do. And the gay guys was like, oh, they shouldn't be able to change anything. And, oh, it would have made such a world of difference to me if I would have had these types of stories read to me when I was growing up. And I'm thinking, maybe, I'm not sure what difference that would have made. I'm not gay, so I don't know for sure. But, if you gay, you gay. If you gay, you gay, right? If you just born that way, maybe like the acceptance of it is what he mean. Like if gay would have been acceptable when I was growing up, mainstreamed, fed to the masses and everything, then maybe I wouldn't have felt so out of place. And they say I've heard a lot of like gay people like attempt to commit suicide and all that kind of stuff, which I wouldn't want to see that. But I agree with the parents in their middle ground. I'm not telling you read the gay books. I just don't want my kid there when you read the gay books. So on this one, y'all, I agree with the Trump administration. Let them parents opt out. Give them advance notice. Let them opt out, whichever way it is. I don't like the fact that y'all have said, well, it don't matter. We gonna read gay books to the kids. I don't like that. Just in and of itself, I don't like that. Look, we gonna read some stories, some literature, some classic. Well, these is kids. So we gonna read some stories to the kids, and whatever. But we specifically gonna go out of our way to kind of mandate that we read gay stories. I'm sorry, LGBTQ stories. I don't like that. It is the gay book. It's the gay book. Today we're going to read about Timmy kissing Jimmy. Timmy was walking up the hill to fetch a pail of water. And then Jimmy came up to him and he caressed the back of his head ever so gently. And he, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? I don't know. Even how do you get into that? Like, when I was growing up, Jack and Jill probably did some stuff. But I didn't know that they was, like, they never said Jack hit it. You know what I'm saying? They was just going up to fetch some water, and then somebody fell, and then the other person fell. They wasn't doing it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't slobber down. Nothing like that. There were no, I don't know, when I was in elementary school, books didn't include sex. books didn't include sex. So it wasn't no LGBTQ books. What makes a book a LGBTQ book for kids? Maybe. Okay, maybe. Think about it. Maybe, okay. And his mommies said this, or his daddies said that. Little Tim went home and his dads were really angry with him. You know, maybe that's it. Like, ooh, it's 2 men. Maybe. But other than that, what elementary books are you reading to kids that include LGBTQ themes? Oh, Terrence Howard, celebrity in the house. Terrence Howard. Good afternoon, sir. T Mikey G say you might as well read books to them on bestiality. Dina say I was a tomboy when I was young. If my mother was anything like those parents now, I would be a man. Just because I wanted to play football with the guys doesn't mean I want to be a boy. My mother put my tail in a dress on picture day. Jerica says, I thought Jack and Jill were siblings. Yeah, I never thought Jack and Jill were siblings. I never thought they were siblings. I always thought it was some something. For real, this is the first time I've ever even considered that they might be siblings. Maybe that says something about me. I never even considered that they could be siblings. Tanika says, I believe it's about indoctrination and making everything normal and or acceptable. And Tanika also thought they were siblings. Okay. Terrence says, what did I fall into? Okay, if you're just joining, there's a school district in Maryland where they kind of mandate that to the kids, the teachers have to read some LGBTQ content. Like, it's not just some teacher with a rainbow flag in her classroom reading the LGBTQ content. This is mandated by the school district if my understanding of this story is correct. Now, if my understanding of the story is wrong, tell me, but I know I was watching a reporter talk about it, and the reporter said it's mandated. So that reporter might have steered me wrong. But my understanding right now is that it's mandated that they read to the elementary school children some LGBTQ stories with LGBTQ themes in them. Because they don't want nobody to feel left out. I agree it's indoctrination, even though I call it indoctrinization. I agree. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that I don't like it. But I do think, in as much as they're doing it, let the parents know, let them opt out. This is, again, the Supreme Court. I mean, this has gone through all the channels. Somebody went to the school board and said, we don't like this. School board said, F you. They went to probably the mayor, and the mayor said, we can't do nothing about it. And then somebody sued somebody, and then it went to, just a regular court, and then somebody appealed, and then it went to a appeals court, and then it went to, I believe, a district court, and now it's all the way up to the Supreme Court. Like, it's been through the rounds. I might have a part of that process wrong. Like, the school board might not have said F you. But and the gay dudes was saying, I wish we had stories like this when I was growing up. It would have helped me so much. Okay. Crystal says, I thought Jack and Jill were siblings also. Am I the only one who never thought they were siblings? Tara says, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with it either. I'm not comfortable with it either. Like I said, I don't like the idea that they're mandating that it happen. But, okay, if you're going to mandate that it happens, I think it's a legitimate request from the Muslim, Jewish, and Christian communities. People who really feel a sense of whatever in their religion to say, okay, if you're going to do that, then just let me take my kid out of school, or my kid, I don't want my kid in that class, or, whatever. Terrence says, so it's gay love stories. I don't know if it's gay love stories. Again, that's why I was kind of thinking, what could you do? The only thing that I could think of that might be, somebody might say is appropriate. Like I say, if Jack and Jill, since apparently they're siblings, but I never thought they were siblings, but if Jack and Jill fell down the hill and then they scraped up their knees and then Jack and Jill went home and their two moms made everything better. Their two dads, were really upset with the farmer. In my mind, they was on a farm. I don't know why. Their two dads were really upset with the farmer. And, their dads gave that guy what for? So then, you have two dads, which would fit in with that LGBTQ thing, or two moms. Trish says, no, you're not. I figured they were at least holding hands on that hill. Yeah! I thought that they were boyfriend and girlfriend. Growing up, they were boyfriend and girlfriend. Kim says, it's a song about Jack and Jill. Yes, it is. Radio. And Jack fell down the hill because he needed love that he wasn't getting from Jill. I can see that. I can see that. I don't know why I thought it was a farm. But she fetching water. In my mind, that you do that on a farm. I don't know. Then it says, oh, so this isn't about the children's sexuality. It's the sexuality of the parents. Got it. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't, of course, seen any examples of the stories that they're potentially reading. I do think somebody in one of the newscasts that I've seen on the story said that there were, because, they make little gay characters now. Not just the Teletubbies. They make little gay characters now in stories. So it ain't just two moms, two dads. Like, it'll be a little gay kid in there. How do you know it's a little gay kid in there? I don't know. They got on glitter? I don't know how you know it's a little gay kid in the gay stories. I genuinely don't know. But I know that they have stories that incorporate gay kids. And how they're explaining that they're gay kids, or, pictorially representing that they're gay kids, I don't know. Glitter is the only thing I can imagine. Ron says they're indoctrination stories. I feel like that's what it is. But indoctrination to what degree? Like, help me understand this, because I agree. I think it's dangerous, but I'm not 100% sure why. Because there's a part of me, and forgive my ignorance. Again, I didn't grow up gay. I knew one or two gay people growing up who never came out, or at least to my knowledge, they never came out as gay. You just knew they was gay. Again, we would say He flicked it. That's what we called it when I was growing up. Called us wrong, bad, whatever. But when I was growing up, we just called it flicked it. So I had one or two friends who we knew was flicked it. But we were still cool with them. They was flicked it. But so what? So what? So their flickedness didn't rub off on us. Ooh, I don't like the way that's now. We didn't become flicked because they was flicked. So is reading the LGBT stories, is our concern about reading the LGBTQ stories that somehow our kids are going to turn gay? Because I don't know that it worked like that. Even though, I'll be honest, I'm exploring this as I talk. I've done this a few times, but never, I don't think, necessarily fully out loud. Okay. I think my working theory for the moment is if you make it okay, then you open up the option to more people. And we already live in a society where, I don't want to call it that. We live in a society where people are willing to do things that are not, I'm going to just say, the norm. And if we make it the norm, then there's no, because for a lot of things that you do or don't do, especially as a child, you either do it or you don't do it because it's known that you shouldn't do that, right? And so the idea, I guess, being, if I don't present gay as a legitimate option, there are people who ain't gonna try gay stuff. But if I present it as, for real, this is a legitimate option for you, maybe you just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, Kanye was fellatiating his cousin from the ages of 6 to 14, his male cousin. He was sucking his, from the age of 6 to 18, to 14. Maybe, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. And if there's nothing wrong with it, I mean, other than it being your cousin, if there's nothing wrong with it, why even stop? Why stop? I've been sucking this, since I was 6. Why would I stop sucking this now? Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's normal. This is what people do. It's just what people do. And then we sitting here 20 years from now, those kids are sitting there having a conversation like, oh, he sucked his D. Oh, he shouldn't have sucked his cousin's D. Maybe they should have found some other little boy and sucked his D. If they wanted to really experience D suck it. And so just making it acceptable, normal, okay, then opens up the door for all of these people to do all of this stuff. And there's no barrier. And I guess then the question would be, so why do you want barriers? Like, if you straight, you don't need barriers. You straight, that's the barrier. I don't know, y'all. Tria says Sesame Street has a gay character now. Brian says, we don't know, but we condemn it. Wow. The right wing has found its entry point into black conversations. People like who they like. Why on earth some of y'all think people can be convinced to be a gender they don't? Can you? Okay, then. Well, I don't know if people can, Brian. I don't know if people can. I can tell you it was never an option for me. Not because, I'm straight. I was straight from the time I was born. I'm pretty sure when I was born, I was asexual. I wasn't a baby thinking about sex. As a baby, I wasn't looking at little baby boys like, I'm looking at little baby girls like, yeah, you know, none of that was happening. I was just a baby. I didn't have a sexual preference. I believe that develops. I genuinely believe a sexual preference develops. I don't think you're born one way or the other. I don't think I was. I remember being a little bitty kid. And I remember not. Now, by the time I got to the kindergarten, by the time I got to the first grade, I remember liking girls. What was that, 5 years in? I had a whole 5 years to develop that. Because I remember before, I don't remember everything from when I was a little bitty kid. I don't remember everything. But I remember not thinking about sex. I remember just thinking about playing with little toys. We had this little spinning thing. You push it down and it spins. And we was around little boys, little girls, and I never thought about grabbing a single one of them. I was asexual. And then as I grew, I developed something. And it was well known to me as I was developing that I want to say I was kind of taught, again, by the stuff that you see and you hear. Boys like girls and girls like boys. And if I would have not known that, who knows? I might have been, oh, okay. Girls could like girls, whatever. So I don't know if it develops or not, but I do know that whatever the stories are, a parent should be able to say, I want my kid to hear that. I don't want my kid exposed to that. If they're going to be exposed to anything like that, it's going to come from me. So I think that those parents should be able to opt out. Yes, glitter, Shannon. Yes. How else would you know? They wear pink and purple. T. Mikey G, no. Or maybe. Hey, I'm cool with it. Put the gay kids on some afternoon experiment shirts. So you gotta put some straight kids in them too. Why? Exactly. Why are children being exposed to sexuality at elementary school anyway? Because somebody thought that it should happen. Now, let me be honest. I understand from the other side why you would want to expose children, even though not for, as I call it, indoctrination. I know that's not the word, it's indoctrination, but I don't know why I hear a Z in there. I get it. Like, you know, okay, this person says I'm gay. And I should see myself, and other gay kids should see themselves in these stories. Sometimes, just like I know it's not safe, but sometimes, like you say, a girl should be able to read a story where a girl is the hero. Because it allows her to believe I can do anything. Being a girl doesn't limit me. A black person should be able to see a black person be the hero. So I can do anything. And being black don't limit me. A gay person should be able to see a gay person be the hero. Because even though I'm gay, I can do anything because my sexuality doesn't limit me. I get the theoretical. I understand the mindset behind why someone would say these kids need to hear stories and see themselves represented. I understand that. I do. But I also understand the parents who say, not mine. Not mine. Brian says, or maybe if everyone is allowed to be who they are, people won't have to rebel or deviate or get beat up because it's closeted. I understand that too. I understand that too. And I'm 100% not for, again, I talked about it earlier in the show, people shouldn't bully people. Nobody should be putting their hands in a violent manner on somebody else, and then you wouldn't even have to come to except for self-defense, because if nobody was doing it, you wouldn't have to be defending yourself against it. So I agree with that. People should be allowed to be who they are. But I feel like it might be a little bit beyond being allowed to being encouraged. You're allowed to be who you are. But have you considered that you might be this? And it's almost like planting a thought in somebody's head at a very young age. Ron says, next thing you know, they're going to say a 13-year-old can have control over their own bodies. All right. Vernon says, how about those Reds? I don't know. I don't watch that stuff. Ron, talking about Jack and Jill, thought they were boyfriend and girlfriend. Can we just, for the purposes of settling this, on the afternoon experiment, Jack and Jill was sweet little boyfriend and girlfriend. They held hands every once in a while. And Jack might have tried to kiss her on the cheek once. Terrence, you crazy, bro. CK say, Emanuel, will you please explain to your audience how embarrassed the cousin is for Wes to tell that while he's serving in prison? Yeah, I mentioned that. And Ron says, two dads, sexuality should never be taught by anybody but responsible parents of sad children. I don't understand exactly what that means. Jerica says, behaviors are learned, in my opinion. I agree. Dina says, my parents told me I was a puppy as a child, I would believe them. Children that young have no clue who they are. They barely know how to wash themselves. I don't feel sexuality should be discussed in elementary schools. They don't have the mental capacity to understand. Terrence is saying some more crazy stuff. Let's see. Is it the school's responsibility or the parents to develop their children? Now, I think the argument would be from the school. We're not trying to develop your children, except we're trying to develop maybe a sense of empathy, a sense of, or a lack of being judgmental and cruel to these people that you may or may not agree with or understand. But we want it out there that these people exist, not necessarily to convince you to be one, but we want you just to understand they exist. And if you are one, all we're really saying is we acknowledge that you exist. I think that would be the argument of the school. But I think that's short-sighted, because I think they are then to some degree encouraging. Have you considered, like the Jehovah's Witnesses, If you're a Jehovah's Witness, I'm not anti you. But one of the things that they've done when they've come to my home, if they've said, we know that this is what you believe, we know that this is how you feel, but have you even considered this as an option? And sometimes people be like, well, I haven't considered that. Interesting. And when you're talking about very young, very impressionable minds, and you present them with other options, I don't know if you're straight, I don't know if you're gay, trans, bi, whatever, but have you considered? Okay, I know you don't have any sexual urges right now, but when they come, have you considered maybe somebody of the same? To me, that's what I hear when I hear that. I don't like that. I don't like that. So, again, on this, I think so far I agree with the Trump administration. When they were going up that hill, Jill kept slapping Jack's hand away from touching her. I don't know. Jack was a little boy. He wasn't trying to do all of that. They were just going to get some water. Brian says, showing a kid with two same-sex parents is not sexuality, regardless of your position on it. But people have to take it there. It's more sexuality than showing a male and female, it's no more sexuality than showing a male and female parent. Okay. Hold on, something's going on here. All right, I don't know what's happening. Y'all, I don't know what's happening here. I can't scroll. It's not allowing me to scroll. I don't know what's happening. And I don't have my hardwired mouse. This thing been working just fine for a long time. Oh, okay. There it goes. It got me down to the bottom. Jerica says, wait a minute. Nakia says, I guess that's normal to me because I was raised in a household with a mother and father. And Jerica says, we can teach our children how to be kind and loving without exposing them to sexuality. Well, to Brian's point, showing two parents is not necessarily showing sexuality. It's just two dudes raising you. They're not showing them in the bed hunching. They just there. Let's see. Hold on. Nokia's not a virus. I think I need to recharge my mouse. Lastly, before I get out of here, because I do have to get out of here, this is kind of for Sierra. I watched the Pop the Balloon or Find Love Netflix show. I gave it a second chance, and I still don't like it. I think they listened to people. I think they heard a lot of the feedback. And so they changed all of it wasn't as much hijinks and, all that stuff. That wasn't so much in the show. It was kind of a straightforward Pop the Balloon. but I still didn't care for it. I still didn't care for it. Yes, they made it too dry. I think one of the things about the show that I like when Arlette does it, Arlette plays it straight. And there are even times, which end up being hilarious, there are even times when Arlette is doing her best to not laugh at some of the things that are completely funny. Whereas this host, who I don't know her name, I'm sorry, I don't watch like Sincere and all that stuff, or Insecure. I said Sincere, Insecure and all that stuff. But like this host is trying to be funny. Like the host is trying to bring the funny, and again, it feels game showy. Like they overcorrected, I think. But I think there's some fundamental issues with the show itself. Like I said, I think the host is trying too hard to be funny, and I like that Arlette always plays it straight. I still don't feel like any of the people are looking for relationships, like they really gonna go out and date or anything like that. Like, ooh, we on TV. And so they trying to be on TV. Even though you could say the same thing for the YouTube version, but at least they're pretending better. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't like it. I'm gonna give it another chance and see if they can. I'm gonna give them probably about 5 shows, and I'm gonna see if they can find their own lane. And I might not be in their lane. Cause you bring a lot of other elements into it. You bring the elements of race, like do this person like this person because they like white people, and do that person like that person because they, you know, it bring too much into it. I'm gonna give them a few more episodes. I didn't like the first episode 100%. The second episode was better, but not good, because they stopped all of the, hey, be zany and be funny and be, you know, just crazy. And but I don't know. But I'm gonna give it another chance, but I don't think it'll be my thing. I don't think it'll be my thing. I'll stick with the YouTube version. And yes, Daryl, I do think it was hilarious when they popped and that actually goes to my point. They popped the balloon because the girl came out with the deep voice. And clearly, Arlette wanted to laugh. And she probably was. They kept the camera off of her. But clearly, you could see she wanted to laugh, but she was trying her best to keep it straight, which made it hilarious. Like she wasn't trying to make a joke about it. She was the straight man. Whereas if that would have happened on the Netflix version, she did like a whole, 2-minute comedy routine about her voice, and then kept referencing her comedy routine when she asked everybody why they popped. So yeah. Shahira says you should definitely watch Insecure. That show was hilarious. I will pass. Nat says, I want to go see Sinners this weekend. I want to see Sinners. I do not want to go to the theater. I'm off the theater. I think I'm out of the theater. Now, Mrs. Livingston said she had a networking event that was at some theater, and, she might want to go and, us go and check it out. And if she want to go, I'll go. If she wants to go to the theater, I'll go to the theater. But I'm very happy waiting for stuff to stream. I don't know why. Look, coronavirus just changed a whole lot of stuff. I don't know about nobody else, but for me, coronavirus changed some stuff. and going to the movie theater became one of them. Been back a few times. It just ain't the same. Again, I used to do sound for live bands, haul my equipment, load it, take it to the venue, unload it, set everything up, run sound, break it all down, bring it back, unload it. Once coronavirus happened and I stopped doing that, I realized that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And I would be anxious sometimes, like, oh, I got a gig coming up Friday. All right. I got to load all this stuff. I got to unload. I got to set up. Oh, I got to run sound. I got to take it. I got to do that. I was like, when coronavirus came, like, ain't nobody playing live music. I get to relax all weekend. I ain't got to load no equipment. I ain't got to unload no equipment. I ain't got to set up. I ain't got to do none of that. Whew. And then when they start back and people was calling me, and I really think I just decided, I don't know that I want to do all of that no more. I don't think I want to do that no more. I think I'm cool. I'm cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not a movie theater guy anymore. I used to love going to the movies, the whole experience. But then I got coronavirus came, whatever. I got a big TV. I got surround sound. I got chairs to recline. You know what I'm saying? It still ain't the same, but I'll wait till stuff is streaming now. I'll wait till stuff is streaming. Plus, I had Movie Pass. All the way up until Movie Pass just fell off and stopped working. Movie Pass was the best thing ever. I went and I saw movies that it worked because I did. I went and saw movies that I would have never gone to see. Some of them really good. But, yeah. Shahira asked, why would I'm out of insincere or sincere or insecure. I think it's insecure. Why have I not gone to, or why am I off of it? I saw Mrs. Livingston and she watched it. It's just certain stuff, it doesn't resonate with me. And I was like, this is girl stuff. Like, this is girl entertainment. And I'm not into it. Ron says, going to the show been dead. Are they gonna make remakes or remakes? Shahira says, what was Movie Pass? Movie Pass was, I actually think they brought it back, but it clearly wasn't as good. Movie Pass was a service where you paid, at the time that I joined it, I think it was $10 a month. And you could go to the movies, was it once a week? And see, whatever. Or maybe it was once a day? I think it was once a day. You could go once a day to the movie on your $10 card. And you just present your card at the theater. It was like a little Visa. And you pay, you say, I want to see, I can't even really think of nothing, John Gotti. I want to see John Gotti. Boom. You pay for it. And that was that. You went in, you saw the movie, and that was that. Then the next day, you say, oh, I want to see Avengers Infinity War. Boom. You already got your card. You paid $10 for the month. You can go see that. Oh, I want to go see, what was that movie I saw with Woody Harrelson? It was, I don't remember the names of them. But you could go see a different movie every day. Now, of course, most people did not go see a movie a day. Not even necessarily a movie a week. But people went and saw movies. And they went bankrupt. Because it was, in terms of a business, it was great for me. I think I had it for at least 6 months. At least 6 months. I had it. And then just one day we go to the movie and we want to see, I don't remember what it was. And it was like, oh, it's not working. And I'm like, hold on, no, I paid my $10. You know what I'm saying? I paid. Like, this should be working. And then they were like, yeah, something's going on with Movie Pass and it's not been working. And I was like, oh, okay. Something's going on. Yeah, it was not a great business model for the company. It was a great business model for me. Because, again, I saw so many movies, it wasn't even funny. I saw so many movies. Let me see. Anthony says, I just get upset when trying to watch the movie. A group of folks just won't be quiet so you can't enjoy the movie you paid to see. And the last, excuse me, the last movie that we went to that me and Mrs. Livingston said, that's it. We went to see Exorcist, Beginnings or whatever that last Exorcist movie that came out with the two girls. And we're in the movie theater watching the movie. And, of course, a group of young people, they might have been teenagers, they might have been early 20s, but they were young people, came in being loud. Just loud for no reason. Like, I want to say like it was the Regal, but it wasn't the Regal. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to hear your conversations and y'all interaction with each other. Get off my phone. Give me my phone. Girl, you better stop playing. Get off of me. Let me go. Let me go. Don't touch my leg. No, you can. I'm going to get something to drink. I'm going to get something to drink. Now, I'm going to just stay here then. If y'all going to, and I'm like, we're trying to watch the movie. And everybody in the theater, shh, shh, and they, shh, my ass. You shh. And you're like, oh my goodness. And we got to deal with this. And then she was like, okay, that's it. That's it. What theater did we go to? What? I don't remember what theater. I don't care what nobody says. Theater. I don't remember what theater it was. I'm trying to remember. Was it Oakley? I don't think it was AMC in Oakley. I don't remember which theater it was. I do remember we was like, this is it. This is our last time. This is our last time. And so we ain't been back since. Is it true that over 70 actors died on the set of the original Exorcist? I doubt that that's true. I very seriously doubt that that's true. That sounds like something somebody made up. But yeah, but I'm not going to be up in the movie theater fighting with a group of young people because they won't stop talking. And it's just much easier for me to just stay home, wait till it come on streaming, and watch it. That's much easier. And Ed, yes. Black Lion said, that's when you know you've gotten old. No, bro. Yeah, it was a whole bunch of baby hair slicked down. Yes, it was. Whole bunch of baby hair. But it was a group. It had to be 6 or 7. It was an uneven number. So 7 or 9. It was a fairly large group. I remember there were more boys than girls, because that was one of the things that the boys was arguing about, because somebody was going to be left out. And I wasn't really thinking about what they was, they was just, but somebody was going to be left out. It's not, no. It wasn't just that. It's just, it's the whole, like I said, the whole overall experience. Plus, sometimes movies, which I know sounds counter to the point that I'm making, but sometimes movies are better with a crowd than by yourself. And I don't like that manipulation. Some stuff is funny because everybody else is laughing. I like to watch the movie. And you make me laugh. I don't want them to make me laugh. This supposed to be funny. You make it funny. Well, Emanuel, everybody else thought it was funny because a lot of other people, it's kind of, people give up laughs too easy. People give up laughs too easy. So I don't want to just be, no. And then you be like, oh, that's a good movie. Oh, that's a good movie. And then people go to the movie and they not in a crowded theater on the opening weekend. And then they like, I was at the theater, that wasn't funny. That wasn't funny. And you're like, everybody in the movie theater was laughing when I saw it. And then when you see it on streaming, you like, that wasn't funny. Why was I laughing? So yeah, I don't like that manipulation. Y'all, I got to get ready to get out of here. And I don't know how I'm going to do this. I have to figure out how to stop this thing, how to stop the stream. But I can't because my mouse ain't working. All right, hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what's happening here. Well, y'all, I got to get out of here. My time is up. I don't know what's going on. Tina says, is anyone else not getting notifications when he comes in? I don't know. Again, I don't do the notifications. It's not me. But I got to get out of here. Daryl, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to end up just having to unplug the thing and shut off the stream that way because my mouse ain't working and my arrows will not send me where I need to go. My arrows ain't doing what I need to do either. But y'all enjoy y'all evening, and I'm gonna get out here in this weather and enjoy it. Yeah, and I'm headed over to the little girls to do some stuff for her over at her shop. So enjoy the weekend. As always, be the reason that someone smiles today. Till next time, I'm out, y'all. I'm gonna say peace, but I'm gonna still be here until I unplug all of this. So, peace.